Hey guys, welcome back. Today we are doing something a little bit different. We are going to rank all of the Pool 3 cards in Marvel Snap that I personally believe you should be buying, pinning or whatever in the collector's token shop if they do appear. These are the cards in my opinion that you should be looking for and reasons why, all that sort of stuff. And me and Luna are going to judge them together. So now let's dive right in. So guys, this is the tiermaker and these are the tiers. The first one is the cards to buy. These to me are the best cards in the game, the cards that you're looking for and the cards that you really want to be pinning if you don't have the collector's tokens for them, or the cards you should be buying when they do turn up. I must have a caveat that I do think all Series 4 and Series 5 cards are not worth buying. All these cards you should rather wait and get, say you have 3k tokens to buy Series 4 card and it comes up in the shop, I would personally advise not getting it and just get 3 Series 3 cards. This will get your collection on quicker to then try and get the RNG to pull Series 4 cards, but it will also get you to opening 300 tokens quicker than, which I do think is just a better outcome. Obviously, it is the longer grind, but I do think it is much better and much more efficient, in my opinion. So, with that to be said, I feel like this is the cards to buy. These are the pinnacle cards that you do want. This is the cards that you probably should consider. It's like the next one down. I would say tier 1.5. They are very good. They are very strong. They are meta-defining, all that sort of stuff, in my opinion. But you probably, if you are missing certain things, I'd probably just get the cards above. The next one is if you want to buy cards for specific decks, they are cards that make certain decks but aren't necessarily meta-defining but are different. They are interesting, all that sort of stuff. That is probably where I would advise. So I don't have anything against these cards. I do think they're strong. They are like deck-defining almost, but I do also think they are just less generically powerful and less. They go in less decks than what I would think. The next one I think is a trap. That's not to say that these cards are bad by any stretch of the means. I do think a lot of these cards are really strong actually in this one. I just don't think they are specifically worth buying. It's like a card that you could still run the same deck without, but it is definitely not necessary to waste 1,000 collector's tokens. I would rather just advise waiting to get to that point to you opening that card in the reserves or caches. And the next one is basically just don't even consider these cards. These cards are probably not good, and even if you open them, they're going to not be really impactful. But they're all, and they're very, very, if they are played, in my opinion, they are very, very replaceable. That is my initial thought on the tiermaker. But anyways, enough of that. Let's get started. So Quake, I do believe, is a pretty simple one, and it's just don't buy it. It's just not good. Card's not really playable if you do open it. I also think this one might be a bit controversial, but I do actually think Red Skull's probably in there too, along with Rescue. They are like, don't get me wrong, there is decks where Red Skull goes in, but it's just not a strong card in my opinion. Rogue is the exact same. Sandman is obvious, don't buy the card, not very good. To me, Arnim Zola is a card to buy. It is very versatile and it is one of the best cards in the game. It probably win you so many games on its own, and it is telegraphable, all that sort of stuff, but it is probably one of the better cards in the game, in my opinion. I also think Seri is up there too. Seri is probably one of the best cards in the game. I would say it's up there probably at the moment either the best card or the second best card, even with the nerf that is obviously not live on this tiermaker. Spider-Man, in my opinion, is a trap. It's a card that is good, and a card that's generically okay, but it's just not a good card to buy. That Baron is not a card. Taskmaster is, in my opinion, a trap. Hood is a card that I would suggest you, if you want to play like a destroy deck. In my opinion, I think Hood is probably one of the best tier 3 cards you could probably have in the destroy deck. I think the deck without it is much weaker than the deck with it. Consider, in my opinion, over all of these cards that you could run, I think the deck gets infinitely better with this compared to any other destroy cards. To me, that includes Mysterio, Venom, and Deadpool. I think they're less good than Hood, in my opinion anyways. Beast, not a card. Typhoid Mary, again, not a card. Ultron, I would say, is a trap. It is definitely a good card in like Patriot, but it is not a card that you really want to be spending 1,000 coins on. Even if you have Patriot and Mystique and Brood, I still probably wouldn't get this. This card is definitely very replaceable. The difference between this and, say, Onslaught is probably very, very minimal. In most games, you are going to obviously win games through it, but you're not going to lose that many cubes out of it to optimize your deck with this, where 1,000 collector's tokens could get you a Serra later down the line. Venom, I believe this card's a trap. Again, I don't think it's very good in the destroy decks anyways, but then it's definitely not worth 1,000 collector's tokens to get it. Viper, don't buy this card. Wasp, again, I definitely would not recommend buying this card. Card's strong with Lockjaw, but it is a card that is just not worth 1,000 collector's tokens. Wong is probably a card you should look at getting. It's a hard choice, but it is a good one to get. Definitely a good one to pick up. Black Bolt, don't even consider this card. Same with Black Cat. Black Cat is just not a card. Black Widow, I'd probably put this in. It's a trap. It's a card that looks strong on paper, but it's just not there. Adam Warlock, just let the Adam Warlock memes continue. Agatha, I'd probably put this in. Some Agatha decks are strong, and if you really want to play with Agatha, fire away. That I do think, it's a card there that if you really want to play Agatha decks, sure. But personally, I'd probably put this in don't buy. But I do understand the appeal to the Agatha decks. I'd say Colleen is probably a trap. It's a card that looks strong. But again, it's not really a good option. It's not going to make the discard decks any better. I'd actually probably just put this in don't buy, to be fair. Same with Brood. Crossbones is almost unplayable. Debris, I'd probably put this as don't buy. Dracula, I'd say, is if you want to play the discard decks, this is probably one of the cards. But again, I do think it's a trap. Falcon, even if you've magically pulled Thanos, this card is not these cards are just not worth considering. All these are pretty easy, do not buy. They are not worth the 1,000 tokens to buy, in my opinion. You get much more for the 1,000 tokens buying these other cards than you will the ones that I've put in here, I believe. Leader at the moment, unfortunately, is one of the best cards in the game. I think it's probably one of the most powerful 6-drops, if not Arnim Zola. And I don't like this card. I'd really put this in. It's a trap, but I think the card's too strong not to put in there. It is a must-have card. As you've seen with the Good Stuff Dera deck, it's just a really strong card. Lockjaw is probably a card that, if you want to play a specific deck, I can definitely see Lockjaw being there. Same with Mr. Negative. These cards are just irreplaceable in a deck. If you are playing the discard deck, your Infinite deck, whatever, Dracula is a must-have. Hood, again, I feel like the Pull 2 Destroy deck just works so much better with Hood than it does without. Obviously, Lockjaw decks don't work the same without Lockjaw, and same with Mr. Negative. Moon Knight, not a card. Don't play it. Same with Captain Marvel. Patriot, if you want to play a Patriot deck, obviously you need Patriot. Cerebro is the exact same. Crystal, I actually think this is probably one of the worst cards in the game, so don't even consider buying it on the best of days. Aero is my final card to buy, and I actively think this is the best card in the game, and it's really torturous not having this card for me. It's so strong. and it just does so much. It's the best 5 and 6 drop, I think, because it's so versatile. It's very good in the same place that leader is. If you're winning both lanes going into turn 6, aero basically makes you almost always win those lanes. Leader is the exact same in that instance, and going leader into aero into leader is just a great play, because you can make yourself win 2 lanes and then make you still win 2 lanes when they try and fight over them on turn 6. So personally, if in my own opinion Hela, I would put in do not buy. Hela is just a meme in my opinion. It is not a good deck. It's so much RNG, all that sort of good stuff. It's just not good, but people like it. And in my opinion, I think you would pick, if you were going to have the choice between these two, I'd buy Dracula before Hela, because Dracula just creates such much more interesting gameplay, all that sort of stuff. Hela is just a card that's going to get discarded on 1 when you play your Blade. It's pretty much how it's going to go. Omega Red, again, it's a card that you don't want to buy. It is definitely not really that interesting. It's not very good. There is a plethora of other 4 mana 5 power 4 energy 5 power guys that you could just play. Quinjet, I do think it's a trap. It is a strong card. It could also go here, but I do think it is a trap card. It is very replaceable, especially in the ongoing decks, but in decks that do want to play around, it is quite needed. So I kind of see it around anywhere between here. I think I'll probably end up putting it here as a compromise. Dagger is not good. Even in the decks I want it, it's not good in my opinion. Deadpool is... I'd probably actually put this in a trap. It's same with Venom. It is not needed, but it is... It definitely improves the destroy decks, but it's definitely not needed by any stretch. But if you do pull it in a reserve, happy days. I would not buy this in the shop. Death is definitely one of the cards you probably should buy. It could go here. I'd probably say it's top of cards you probably should buy. But that's just my opinion. I do think he's one of the most versatile cards to play with. But it's just not... I don't think it's quite up there with the rest of these cards. Destroyer. You can't really play a Destroyer deck without Destroyer. I also have noticed that all these numbers are slightly off. I feel like this must be an old tier maker, but we all understand the point. Doom. I feel like I passed on Doom personally, so I feel like I can't put this here. So I'd probably... It is strong, and it is an irreplaceable 6-drop if you want this effect. But I feel like it's probably here. Drax, pretty straightforward, I don't buy. Electro is if you kind of want to play, obviously, the big dick energy decks, that's perfectly fine. And it's kind of can't really be played without it. You could try and substitute Psylocke, but it just doesn't work as well. Gambit, don't buy this card. Fun, different, but not really worth it. Again, Ghost Rider, I feel like I want to put this in front of Hela because it and Dracula are both similar sort of effects, like in the sense that they make the discard deck much better than Hela does, in my opinion. Goose, don't buy this card. Just wait till you pull it, you'll play it once and never play it again. Green Goblin, it's a card that you've lost to quite a while, and it is quite annoying, but it's still a trap. It's a good card, but it's not worth 1,000 tokens. Hazmat, just because Luke Cage exists doesn't mean this card gets any better. Do not buy this card. Same with Hellcow. Card looks strong, but is definitely a big discarder for the discard decks, but it's not the be all and end all. There's a lot of discard engines that you get there. There's a lot in Pool 1, so you've probably got a lot of the good ones anyways. Human Torch, don't play move decks. Don't be a bot. Don't buy this card. Invisible Woman, this card's a trap. I probably should put this here actually, because it is a trap. People like this card, but it is definitely a trap. Invisible Woman is a trap. It is not worth the 1,000 collector's tokens. This is a pull 2 card, so I don't know why this is here, but don't buy this. Kingpin, don't buy this. Magic, it's a trap. Sounds very unique, but it is a trap. Magneto, definitely a card you should consider buying. It is one of the strongest cards. And Maximus, don't buy this card. Mojo, there's definitely better other, maybe not better, but there's definitely other ongoing effects that make this card good. Mysterio, this card's a trap. It is good. It makes the discard the destroyed X better, similar with Deadpool and Venom, but it definitely is not no hood in my opinion. Mystique, it's a trap. It makes Patriot decks better. It makes Cerebro decks better, but it's a trap. It's just not worth the 1,000 tokens. Psylocke, same principle. Looks good on paper, makes things better, but it is not worth 1,000 tokens in your shop. Just wait till you open it in a reserve. Polaris, this card is probably a trap. Looks good, sees a lot of play in the Surfer decks, but it's definitely replaceable. The thing about Surfer is the 3 cost is important. The rest of the cards are pretty irrelevant. The only one that's kind of like irreplaceable is Brood, which I'll now after discussing this I'll move this up, but that is basically it. I think that's fairly straightforward. I feel like it hasn't updated, and there is a Daredevil, which I think if Daredevil was here should go in the cards you probably should buy. But other than that, it is a unique effect. It's really strong with Aero, it's really strong with Professor X, all that stuff, that it's just really powerful on that key turn 5 play. So he knows what you're going to set up, all that sort of stuff. So it's probably a card you should buy and should consider buying. But this is my tier list. This is where I believe these are at, and probably this order. I'd probably buy them all in this order as well. Aero first. If these came in running order, these how I would buy them. Same with these. And these are just, I can see people putting these higher up, but that depends on their playstyle. These cards are good and strong in their relative archetypes, but just are not better than the ones above, in my opinion. So that's kind of where I feel like that is. And finally, these just don't consider. They are definitely not worth the 1,000 tokens. So guys, that's my tier list. Let me know what you think about the comments below. If you agree, you disagree, you think I'm talking shit, I completely understand. Everyone has their own opinion, but let me know down below in the comments. And if you like these type of videos, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. It really does wonders for the channel. And please, see you guys next time.